Good evening, council and staff, and to those that are joining with us virtually, as well as those that have joined with us in the council chamber. Before we begin tonight's meeting, we have a very special presentation to make. I'd like to ask Chief Will Davidson to join with me. We need you, Scott.
You only have school out there.
Help him, Elizabeth.
My phone in my pocket.
Scott. But when one serves their community, it's a very special thing. It's one of the highest things that an individual can do. And this evening, especially when they join the fire services, as they dedicate their lives for many years, 24 hours a day. This evening, we're very fortunate to be able to recognize one of our own, DC Scott Jordan, on 45 years of service to our community. Scott, we are certainly very pleased and very proud of you, and thank you for all that you have done and continue to do. On behalf of the town, I'd like to present you with the certificate of appreciation, expressing our thanks on your milestone achievement of 45 years service to the Plympton-Wyoming Fire Department. Chief Davidson.
All right, Chief Jordan. Congratulations on your 45 years of service. It's quite a milestone. Congratulations, sincerely. It's not many that reach that. People are smarter than me. On behalf of the fire department, I'd like to congratulate you on your 45 years. Thank you.
You want to get together and we'll do that.
Sure. Let me just put this here. Thank you. Scott, is there anything that you'd like to say at this time?
Just thank you for everyone. I definitely didn't plan 45 years ago. They'd still be kicking around doing the stuff, but working with the town, that seems to amalgamation, all the changes over 45 years. And all the people I've worked with the staff here and everything, that just inspires me too, and everything else, and that keeps my fire lit to go and keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully got a few more years left of me. And so,
Well, thank you very much, and we do appreciate that.
thank you.
If I could have Chairman of the Fire Executive, Wolvette, would you like to come up and congratulate C. Jordan?
Congratulations,
Bob, thank you.
Chief. We've worked together now for quite a few
Yes,
years,
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Long over here, just as long as you have. But anyways, congratulations and certainly all the best in the future.
Council, would you like to join with us and congratulate Scott?
I'd like to do that. Congratulations, Scott, for how many years have I known?
I'll spare you the hug, friend.
Thank you, right.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, that's it.
Alex, thank you.
Council, do you want to get in for a quick picture?
Oh, sure.
Sure, Council. Unfortunately, we have two council members that are joining us virtually this evening, but I know they send their best as well, Scott.
Yes.
Thank you.
How's that?
Perfect.
These hands in my pocket.
Front or back?
Back.
Oh, well,
Top that one.
Thank you, Scott. Oh, here you go, Scott.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that in.
Had to go look for it. Thanks. Thanks, Norman.
Worship, thank you. Welcome.
This meeting will be streamed live and recorded for public viewing on the town's YouTube page. Council, before we get going, I would like to take a moment and express on behalf of the municipality, our staff and all of our residents, our sincere condolences to former councillor and deputy mayor Don Nelson in the recent passing of his wife, Arlene. Arlene was very active within our community for many, many years, especially serving at the Royal Canadian Legion the last few. And we certainly will miss her contributions to our community. Council, please be aware that we have a drainage meeting scheduled for 6 o'clock, so we'll be breaking at 5:55 p.m. to prepare for that under the direction of Councillor Van Claveren. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi people, referred to collectively as the Anishinaabe. It is through the connection of the Anishinaabe with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and their values. Together as treaty people, we have a shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future for those generations to come. Council, I would remind you, if you have a pecuniary interest, to please declare it at the appropriate time. Clerk, do we have any delegations this evening?
Nothing this evening, Erica.
Thank you. Let's go to item 5.1. Okay. 5.1 is Bill 185, changes to the notice requirements as previously received in a staff report. Council, before we begin, want to ask you to recall, we received a report at the end of last month at our planning meeting relating to the changes to the notice requirements in the Planning Act. You'll also note that we have received a letter from the editor of a local media outlet drawing our attention to some very important statistics as well as some information. Besides receiving this letter, I can personally attest to receiving some comments, some phone calls, and personal interaction from residents expressing their opinion as well as their viewpoint. I believe since we've received the report last month, we have had the opportunity to review it again. And I would be receptive to doing so and actually suggest we continue with the existing practice that we currently entertain. Council, are you comfortable with that suggestion? Councillor Vasey, you're online. Are you comfortable with that?
His hand went up.
Councillor Rodriguez, you online? Are you comfortable with that as well?
Can you hear me?
And now, yes.
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Thank you, Your Worship. And staff has received the information as well and has reviewed it. And given the importance of local media to the community, and the importance to ensure that we provide multiple ways for our community to get knowledge about our municipality and the ongoing, we agree that it would be best to carry on as we have in the past, advertising through local media to ensure we reach out to the largest group of people. We will continue to do so as per our past practices.
Okay, thank you. All right, Council, let's move to item 5.2 on the agenda. I have a motion by Councillor Bolt, seconded by Councillor Wolvet. The report submitted by Paul De Silva, Director of Public Works, dated November the 1st, 2024, regarding the limited service agreement for Beverly Glen, California Ave, and Santa Monica Boulevard be received and that a limited service agreement for the area be approved, and that bylaw 135 of 2024 be taken as having been read 3 times, finally passed, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the said bylaw accordingly. Council, you've heard that motion, or is there any discussion on that? To my right, anything?
I know we briefly talked about it at the last meeting. The precedent's already set in my opinion. We've got a staff report here that says there's no implications when it comes to needing resources, no added staff, no added equipment. We're doing it for their neighborhoods. John put a lot of effort into this, and it's just the exact same mirror of the other agreements, so I see no issues with it.
Thank you. Councilor Vaizey, anything from you? Okay, Councilor Rodriguez,
All good.
to my left,
I'm fine, sir.
Councilor Wolbett.
The only comments I have no issue with it whatsoever. But this is not the only area in Plympton-Wyoming where this exists. And I certainly was questioned the other day about it. Of course, I read it in the minutes. And I would expect there will be others in here requesting the same thing. And my comments would be that it's way overdue for us to do this for, they pay taxes and everything the same as anybody else. And so expect probably others coming in asking for the same type of agreement. So that's all I have to say. I do support this.
Council, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, Mr. Kreisman, for your diligent work and your assistance on this project.
It's a pleasure to meet everybody and great pleasure to sit in chamber with all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Council, let's go to item 6.1. I have a motion by Deputy Mayor McEwen, second by Councilor Bojan, that the minutes be adopted by council. The confidential minutes of the closed sessions of council remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information Protection of Privacy Act. That would be our Planning Council meeting minutes of October 28th, 2024. Our planning public meeting minutes of same date with the zoning bylaw amendment 118 2024 for 3346 Michigan Line. Our zoning bylaw amendment 119 of 2024 4473 Arbor Line, and zoning bylaw amendment 124 of 2024 relating to 5182 London Line. Our regular council meeting minutes of October 30th, 24, our closed regular council meeting minutes of October 30th, 2024. Council, you've had an opportunity to read them. Is there any questions? Not, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Carried. I see your hand in the corner, Councilor Rodriguez, so I'll keep an eye out for that. Okay, Council, let's go to item 6.2. A motion by Councilor Van Claveren, seconded by Councilor Wolbett. That minutes be adopted by council and that those confidential minutes of the closed sessions remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. That would be our Environmental Service Committee meeting minutes of October the 3rd and our Special Events Committee meeting minutes of October the 7th. We have Councilor Bojan here, who is the liaison for special events and chairs environmental. If there are any questions. Are there any questions, Council? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, let's go to item 6.3, Councilor's Report. Deputy?
Yeah, we may as well start with the ones who are on virtually. Ms. Rodriguez, do you have anything to report? Other than that, you're not feeling well?
Thank you. I'm actually feeling okay. I just have a cold. So I don't want to share.
Thanks.
I'm not sure why why my video thing isn't on. Is there a reason why it's not on?
Did you slide the little window at the top of the screen?
There's a little window.
So if you look straight at the top, there's a little, you can feel the little slide up there.
Well, I have my screen and my split screen on because I've got the agenda on one part.
They're magnetic.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just report anyway. We can hear you.
It's okay. I just want to make sure my votes are properly recorded.
We see your-
Anyway, I had a trails committee with the county. We went over grant requests, letter to Bob Bailey regarding the proposed or changes to bicycle lanes in the province. And then went over some new mapping considerations to try and be more in line with the times and digital technology. As well, I participated in a photo op with the mayor as part of the fire committee, and the fire chief with on-bridge gas donated some combination smoke fire alarms. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Vasey. You want to look at us? You have nothing to report? Okay. You're not feeling good, are you? Okay, thanks. Mr. Bougen, how about you?
I think I do have a couple updates. So special events met last Monday. They're working with the community groups for Christmas in the Village, which is on the 14th. So one thing to note as well is the holiday light competition's back this year, and they're adding a commercial competition as well. So the normal holiday light decorations for houses plus a commercial one. And that judging is taking place on December 6th. So if anyone's interested in doing the second annual contest, it's you can sign up online. There's a link on their Facebook page. Environmental Services Committee also met last week. There's two updates from there I just wanted to share with council. The first is there was a capital project status update at that meeting. It was a really fulsome report from Paul. So I encourage anyone to look at that if you're looking for some fun reading. It's just a status update on all the capital projects this year. And then we also got an update on the water meter replacement project. There's about 100-ish, just over 100 homes left to do. Neptune's done. And then there's probably going to be a little bit of a surplus from that project. So that'll just go back into reserves, but there are hanging on to some just to take care of those last few in the new year. That's everything I had.
Thank you. Mr. Wolf.
I was away on vacation for a period of time, but I did attend the Environmental Services Committee by virtual. So about all I have for tonight.
Okay. Oh, not much. Mr. Van Claveren.
Deputy Mayor, I have nothing to report.
Well, you did a fine job at the Remembrance Day services here in Wyoming, and
Well attended.
yeah, it was a well attended, so. And I don't think I have anything to report either, so. No.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, would you like to? Do you have anything?
Just a couple things. I had the opportunities and the honor to lay wreaths at both the Remembrance Day services held within our municipality in Kamlaki and then in Wyoming. You've touched on Councilor Van Claveren, emceeing the one in Wyoming, did a very good job. Mr. Ted Cooper did the one in Kamlaki and also did a really good job as well. Both services were well attended and supported by members of our community. And again, special thanks to the Huron Shores Optimists as well as the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 388 for their work in making these events a success. I had the opportunity as well to attend the special events and environmental meeting, which Councillor Bougen has already talked about. And I was joined with Councillor Rodriguez at the fire hall with Chief Davidson and a representative from Enbridge, Mr. Elwood, for receiving those smoke detector seal alarms, which is certainly going to be needed, certainly greatly appreciated by ourselves and the residents of our community. So that's all that I've done, Deputy.
Oh, Thank you. Lizzie?
Okay. Let's go to item 7. Clerk, anything new under accounts? Okay, we'll get into some staff reports. I have a motion by Councillor Belgian, seconded by Councillor Wolvette, that the report by Elizabeth Cummings, Drainage and Engineering Coordinator, dated November the 4th, 2024, regarding the new schedule of assessment, repairs and maintenance of the Kernahan O'Donnell Drain be received, and that council withdraws the May 10th, 2023 appointment of M. Garrett's Consulting Incorporated until the tribunal grants permission for the procurement of a report. Ms. Cummings is with us. If there's any questions, beginning on my left, any questions? On my right? Anything virtually? Seeing nothing? Okay. Call for the vote. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, let's go to item 8.2. A motion by Deputy Mayor McEwen, seconded by Councillor Van Claveren, that the report by Ella Flynn, Executive Assistant Deputy Clerk, dated November the 4th, 2024, regarding a 2025 comprehensive fees and user charges bylaw be received, and that bylaw 3 of 2024 be repealed effective January the 1st, 2025. And that bylaw 134 of 2015 be a bylaw to establish fees and user charges be taken as having been read 3 times, finally adopted, and then the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the said bylaw accordingly. The questions with this, beginning on my left. Councillor Wolvette?
The only question I would have, and I've had this question before, council, over the years, but wood stoves. Now, this charge $617.73. I don't know why there's 73 cents, but when you install a wood stove, you have to have that inspected with wet certified people. And also we inspect it with the building inspector. And I believe, I know because I was going to install one in my garage, it had to be also inspected by a fire department. So my question is, why do so many people have to inspect it to begin with, when you would think that the WETS certified inspection would be good enough? I don't know who does that for the municipality. Not sure if your building inspector is certified WETS or not. But it's just it's just a question of how many people have to inspect your stove. I don't know.
Mr. Sabansky?
To the best of my knowledge, and I can confirm this with our chief building official, there is specific legislation that requires specific inspections for wood stoves. And that all those professionals are required to carry out their own individual inspection based on Ontario Building Code, based on Ontario Fire Code, and then whichever the codes that the wet tech would certify against. It's not something that I believe this municipality requires necessarily by bylaw. So it's being done to meet legislation that would have been founded at the province or elsewhere.
Okay, because I know I run into a situation myself that my insurance, my house insurance was coming due, and of course we were asked a question about a wood stove. It was at our cottage, and I had to actually hire WETS certified people to come and do it. It didn't matter about the fire department, it didn't matter about the building inspector. Wood stove had been in there for years, but had to be WETS certified. So
because of that, it may actually be a requirement of the insurance provider more than an actual legislative requirement. The legislative requirement would come into play through the fire chief and or through the chief building official.
thank you. Yeah, that's all I have.
Councillor Van Claveren?
Maybe just a bit curious on HST, how it's applicable in some situations, but very few. Is that a question for you, Norma?
Yeah, so the HSBT is not applicable on permits and licenses.
Thank you. Anything else, Councillor?
That's it for me. Thank you, sir.
No, I have no questions.
Councillor Belgian?
I do have one thing to note. I've been thinking a lot about the development and planning engineering fees, because I know we approved a staff report at the last meeting. With the scale for cost recovery, and I was originally gonna talk about if we need a notice of reconsideration, if we wanted to talk about it again, but I don't know if we do, seeing as we're just approving the fees now. I just wanna personally request, and I think a counselor might have mentioned this at the last meeting about it, about more information about local municipalities and what they're doing on that. I know we had a lot of comparables of city centers and urban areas. And then after that meeting, I kept thinking about it, and it's important, I think, for us to really consider what our surrounding comparable municipalities are doing, because I don't want to make ourselves not competitive if it's going to impact residential development and especially commercial development. So I don't know if where the rest of council is, but I'm concerned about using the same model and fee structure and same percentages as urban centers and cities when we are significantly different. And again, I know that was mentioned at the last meeting as well. And I'm just echoing it now before we approve or vote on this. So depending on where council is, I don't know if there's a way to take that piece out and pass the bylaw amended, or what the recommendation would be, depending on where council is at. But I just wanted to raise that concern that I have about pricing ourselves out and not being competitive with comparable municipalities.
Mr. Sabansky?
No, it's a fair assumption. I do believe the comparators that were provided were St. Clair Township and then a number of larger municipalities. That is correct, that had higher levels of development. You were correct in the statement that we are probably higher than most of our similar size comparators, although they have lower levels of growth currently. As far as deferring, I'm going to defer that discussion to my clerk to see what the possibility is. However, council can amend the fees tonight if they wish to a lower level, if it is more appetizing, if they wanted to ensure that they are more competitive with the surrounding municipalities. But in regards to deferring it for further information, I'd have to ask my clerk to speak to that.
Scorcha?
Can speak to that, your worship. I think because we have time in these fees, we can come back at the end of the month if it's that. I would hate to approve all of it and then come back and do it again, and or may have an amendment bylaw that's a separate attachment. I think it's, if you want more information, you defer for more information, and that's perfect. We could come back on the 27th and we would have that information to make a wholesome decision on the fees. We have time. If we were in December and Norma's working on our budget is done, I think we'd be a little concerned, but we have time. And I think you get the best information to make the right decision rather than going back and repealing and having multiple documents. I think a deferral is the best option. As Adam said, you can suggest a new fee, but I think you're asking for more information to make that decision on the fee, right? So, which we can't provide.
And specifically, if the information is required to the comparators, what we can do, instead of providing the whole staff report again, we can provide a staff report just summarizing all of our, for lack of better words, competitors in our immediate area. Because competitiveness is important in the development field, and then that way council can review those comparators to ensure that we're being competitive with our adjacent municipalities. And if they feel that adjusting, lowering the fees at that time, we can do so. We can also provide a couple of different options for council to consider in that comparison.
That's all I had, so we'll see where the rest of council feels. Thank you.
Thanks. Dr. Bays, anything from you? Mr. Bays, anything from you?
I'm trying. Yeah, I agree with that. We don't want to get to the point where we're uncompetitive like everybody's saying. So yeah, I'd like more information.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Thank you, your worship. Wow, I'm sorry to hear Mr. Vasey is not feeling well at all. I feel lucky I'm doing as well as I am. I totally concur with Councillor Baujan. I was actually going to ask, because I was struggling with how to approve this comprehensive bylaw as a whole, when fundamentally I've been struggling with that engineering fees. I just need to know more information before making a good sound decision on that.
Okay, thank you. Also, I'm hearing some concern, and maybe deferral might be way to go on this one. I guess I have to ask Deputy Mayor and Councillor Van Claveren as the mover and seconder. I'm gonna call for the vote. Are you okay with deferring it? Yes. Mr. Sabansky.
Just so the direction is clear, staff are going to bring a list of comparators to council for further information so that you can see how we compare to those competitors and to ensure that we are not pricing ourselves out of our ongoing development.
Everybody comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll call for the vote for deferral. All those in favor? Deferred. Okay, let's go to item 8.3. I have a motion by Councillor Wolvette, seconded by Councillor Van Claveren, that the report by Norma Roddy-Crease, treasurer, dated November the 6th, 2024, regarding Public Works Road Department's surplus equipment be received, and that council declare the 2002 Freightliner single axle plow truck as surplus equipment. Are there any questions on this? Councillor Wolvette.
Is this truck in real bad shape?
Mr. Sabansky?
Yes, sir. We've had the frame rebuilt on this truck. We've replaced all the plow equipment on the truck. The engine has been rebuilt, and I think the transmission has had a lot of work done to it. It's very much at the end of its life, and all those improvements are starting to come around to need improvement again.
End of discussion. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councillor Van Claveren.
Maybe just a brief suggestion that that we supplement a little bit of advertising, whether it's online or whatever we decide to draw attention to that specific item in that specific auction, maybe provide a link.
So I'll confirm with staff, but our past practice is under our bids and tenders page that we provide a link to the advertisement on Gov Deals. So we can ensure that is done again, and we can ensure that we also send notice out via our other methods.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, let's call for the vote. All those in favor? Carried. Let's go to item number 9.1. Motion by Councillor Wolvette, seconded by Councillor Van Claveren, that bylaw 136 of 2024 being a bylaw to appoint officers, board, and committee members, employees of the corporation of the town of Plympton-Wyoming, be taken as having been read 3 times and finally passed, and the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the said bylaw accordingly. Council, just for your information, we do this anytime there are people that are coming or going off of committees throughout our term of council. We have a new addition to the Special Events Committee. I'd like to welcome Ingrid Morrison to that committee. She's done a great job for us in a brief period of time so far. Any questions on that? All those in favor? Carried. Correspondence. Clerk, anything been added to the correspondence since the agenda went out?
Nothing for action required.
Okay, let's go to item 11.1. I have a motion by Councillor Van Claveren, seconded by Councillor Wolvette, that the correspondence items A to G relating to recommended reading and routine approval and information items be noted as received by the Plympton-Wyoming Council and filed accordingly. Okay, beginning on my left, Deputy, anything from you?
No, nothing, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Van Claveren.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was going to draw attention to item F, the Ontario Energy Board Notice of Hearing Enbridge gas rates. So it's legislated that gas rates must increase. If I understand it correctly, in direct relation to the carbon tax. And I don't know if we could draft a letter perhaps that in opposition or to make them aware that we're not particularly pleased with how that affects our municipality.
Okay, did you want to pull that out?
I think so, yeah. Please,
Okay, so that's item F.
that's item F, yes.
All right. Anything else, Counselor?
That's all for me, thank you.
Okay. Counselor Lovett.
I think I'm good, thanks.
Okay, Counselor Rodriguez, anything from you?
Yes, thank you. Item F, I agree with, and item G as well. In item G, it's about finding ways to get more municipalities funding for infrastructure and growth as per the government, both provincial and federal government's wishes. In it, it has a template for each municipality to write their own resolution and send it to the noted levels of government. So I support G.
Okay. That's all, Counselor?
Yes, thank you.
Counselor Basie, anything from you?
I'll try this. I was asked this week about the green space down Erie Street beside the park, especially with Remembrance Day. People park along there and then it's always soft and wet and then it's just a mess. We have to fix it every year. Could we look at pulling that out and putting gravel in like we did where the fry truck is sitting? And it would increase our parking and just make it safer for everyone, and it's, not a mess that we're dealing with all the time. That's all I have.
Counselor, I'm gonna hold that one over until new business, the next one, but you've already told us, so we know we've got it now, and you've got some breath to share that with us, so that's good.
Ah, crap. I thought that's where we were. I got nothing on the other.
It's okay. Counselor Bojan?
I have nothing further to pull, thank you.
If I may clarify, your worship.
Yes, go right ahead.
So the item that Councillor Van Clavern drew attention to would not require a motion of support because he doesn't support the increased rates. So I don't know if Mr. Sabansky wants to speak to a letter that could be drafted that would go to I guess also other levels of government saying,
Ontario Energy Board.
yeah, the Ontario Energy Board saying their concerns with that.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be one of these motions of support, so.
Are you okay with that, Counselor?
Absolutely, yep.
Staff and I will draft a letter encouraging the provincial and federal government to look at alternatives to the carbon tax to avoid costing homeowners significantly more money to heat.
Counselor Rodriguez, you have brought F forward as well. Are you okay with what their proposal is for that one?
Yes, I am. So basically, it's in that phase where you can comment right before the hearing, and it's being done through a written process. So basically, staff would write a letter of concern on behalf of council and municipality as a whole.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that you're okay with that as well, because you had.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, right? That's what I was just clarifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I double clarify that. It looks like under important dates, to have those comments submitted through the OEB was November 12th.
Oh.
So we can continue to submit letters otherwise, but that period has.
At least we had the opportunity to express our viewpoint.
So if you want to do this one, which is G, we just need a seconder. That's from the one Councillor Rodriguez asked to support.
Sit down.
If I may.
Yes.
So on G, that one is asking for like our own staff to prepare our own resolution. And it has a template there. So basically they're asking to receive funds from the land transfer taxes and HST on new homes to help support new infrastructure.
Yes, correct.
So we would take that motion, Councilor Rodriguez, and put it into a letter and send it for support.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So I have a motion by Councilor Rodriguez, seconded by Councilor Van Claveren, that council support correspondence item G from the town of Aurora regarding fair share of provincial and federal funding. Pretty clear on that? All those in favor? Carried.
Do you want to read this and then get a seconder? And then we can do that one.
Okay, I'm looking for a seconder for Councilor Van Claveren's item G.
F.
Sorry, F. Sorry, F. Is there a seconder for that? Councilor Bulgin? What?
Do you want me to just write it in? Okay. We can add to change. Yeah, then we can do.
Give it to Justice. Nope.
Nope, that's okay.
I have a motion by Councilor Van Claveren, seconded by Councilor Bulgin, that staff be directed to draft a letter, submit the town's concerns with the increasing rates, and to request they look for alternatives.
Specific.
Are you comfortable with that?
You can draft a letter, staff and I, based on those recommendations.
I'm not sure if I am exactly.
Draft a letter to submit the town's concerns with the increased rates.
Due to the
You want that included, yeah.
carbon tax, yeah. Yes, thank you.
Councilor Bulgin, you okay with that?
Yeah, with circulation to the. Feds.
I'm gonna put circulation to the OEB as well. Now the commenting period's closed, right? Sorry, it's a mess.
Okay, I'll reread that. Moved by Councilor Van Claveren, seconded by Councilor Bulgin. That staff be directed to draft a letter to submit the town's concerns with the increasing rates due to the carbon tax, and to request they look for alternatives with circulation to the OEB and federal government. Okay, all those in favor?
It's receiving.
Okay, and this motion is to receive them up to the original 11.1, moved by Councilor Van Claveren, seconded by Councilor Wolvett. The correspondence items A to J relating to recommended reading and routine approval and information items be noted as received by the Plympton-Wyoming Council, filed accordingly. In favor? Carried. Okay. Go to item 12, new business. We've just heard it from Councilor Vasey. This item of new business is the concern about the parking along Erie Street to the east, along McKay Park down towards Cenotaph. And his question was if we could look at taking up the sod and putting in the stones similar to what we did by the fry truck to try to save money in the long run for repairing it every year. Would that be safe to say, Counselor? Do you want to take that back to Mr. De Silva?
Yes, we'll take it back to Mr. De Silva, see where Erie Street fits into the capital budget. If it's gonna occur soon, then I would suggest that we would wait until we reconstruct the road. If it's in the longer term, then Mr. Vasey's suggestion may be a good idea to avoid some of the damage and rutting along the edge of the road.
Okay. Counselor Rodriguez, anything from you for new business?
Yes, I had, you're probably happy I'm not on video. I had bumper stickers or bumper magnets that I provided to staff. Maybe they can put on the counter for the public or use for your public works vehicles about sharing the road with bicycles.
Okay, I think they're at the counter, aren't they, Mr. Sabansky?
Yes, through the chair, if I may. Thank you, Councilor Rodriguez. On the vehicles which we could make them stick to, they have been installed and the remaining magnets have been placed at the front counter for the public.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Okay, Councilor Bowden,
Nothing for me, thank you.
Councilor Wolvett.
One item, the cost of OPP policing, the expenses to municipalities. It's a topic, a big topic I've been reading about throughout the county for sure, and other areas, not only OPP, but city budgets. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there about some of the budgets going through the roof in these cities. I don't know what the answer is, but when you look at 10 to 15% increases, you know, in a smaller community like ours, that is a direct increase in property taxes, which is fairly significant. And like I say, I would appreciate all the policing and all of that, but in my opinion, things are just getting a wee bit out of control here with the cost increases that we're seeing, not only from OPP, but all categories, whether we talk about gas or we talk about policing. So I don't know what the answer is on these type of increases, but you know, I think for the police, you know, what they're involved in is somehow they're gonna have to look at a lot more digital, a lot more technology. You can hire all the police you want, but it doesn't seem to be slowing down the crime. I mean, I read your reports here in the Police Services Board. Crime is just going through the roof. I know OPP have hired 500 new officers, and I mean, that's great, but these prices are directly sent down to the taxpayer. So it's a concern. Like I said, most municipalities are talking about it. So I think we need to talk about it for sure. What you do about it, I don't have the answer. And I'm not sure anybody here does, but we've got to start looking at these kind of increases. It's just not sustainable. That's only one item that's increasing prices. So we'll just leave it at that. Like I said, I don't know the answer, but I'm putting it under new business because staff, you're gonna have to take a look at this stuff and say, like, where does it end? Where does it end? What was going to happen to our budget? You know, and so I know Gary, Mr. Mayor, you know, you've been at these meetings. I'm just reading the one here. The board requested that through Inspector Avery, it be requested that the municipal policing rep attend the next meeting of the board in relation to the recent increases in expenses sent to municipalities under the provincial policing contract. So it's an issue with you guys too, and I get it. So I think it's an extremely important item, and it's going to have to be addressed one way or the other in this province.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir.
Van Claveren,
Nothing for me, sir. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, I have nothing under new business. So at this time, council, we're going to take a Mr. Van Claveren, 10-minute break. I ask you to be back in your chairs or on your screen for 5:59 because we'll be ready to go. Counselor, who's sitting out this time?
Yourself, Mr. Mayor, and Councillor Vasey.
All right. So this time we're going to take a brief 10-minute break and we'll resume with our drainage meeting at 6 o'clock sharp. After that drainage meeting, we'll be going in camera and then closing down for the evening. So thank you very much, everybody that's been watching so far.
Hey, let's call this meeting to order. This is a quarter revision for the Sol drain. If there's any pecuniary interest or conflict of interest, this is be the time to declare that. The purpose of the quarter revision is to hear appeals from landowners regarding the schedule of assessment only. I set out the engineer's report dated August 27th, 2024 for the Sol drain. The quarter revision has no authority to change the engineer's report in any way. The schedule of assessment may be altered, but the total must remain the same. If one assessment is reduced, then the other assessments must be increased to balance. Allow me to introduce the members of the court. Councillors Bob Wolvett, Councillor Alex Bojan, Councillor Kristen Rodriguez joins us online. Johan Van Claveren and the Deputy Mayor, Nanny McEwen. I'll also introduce our staff, Drainage and Engineering Coordinator Elizabeth Cummings is here. Our Drainage Clerk, Jessica Wilson. Josh Warner is here. Ella is here as well. Thank you, Ella, as well. And now we'll ask Mr. Warner, our engineer, if he will speak to the assessment schedule.
Thank you. Through the chair. So the assessment schedule was applied in accordance with the assessment portion of the report. I have not received any correspondence or appeals, but I'm available for any comments or questions should there be any.
Okay. Obviously, there's no one here in chambers with us. I think someone was going to join us online. Is Amy? Oh, yeah, there she is. Yeah. Amy, can you hear us?
I can, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Do you have any questions or comments?
I do not at this time, but thank you.
You bet. Is anyone on council have any questions in regards to the Sol drain, the quarter revision? Allow me to read the motions. The motion that the court signed, pardon me, by Councillor Bob Wolvett and also moved by Deputy Mayor McEwen that the court confirms the assessments on the Sol drain as contained in the schedule of assessment dated August 27th, 2024. All in favor? And I see Councillor Rodriguez's hand, so that is carried. Motion here signed by Councillor Bob Wolvett, seconded by Deputy Mayor McEwen that the quarter revision meeting for the Sol drain be adjourned. All in favor? And that's carried.
Busy boy.
Okay, well, thanks once again. That was nice and smooth. I appreciate that. And we can call back in our mayor.
A motion by Councillor Van Claveren, seconded by Deputy Mayor McEwen. The council move into an in-camera meeting of council pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the following reasons. Item A, educational session. Meeting is held for the purpose of educating or training the members of council or local board or committees, or no member will discuss a matter that materially advances this business or the decision making of the council or local board or committee. Item B, personal matters, section 239, bracket 2, bracket B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. And item C, employee matters, section 239, bracket 2, bracket D, labor relations or employee negotiations. Call for motion. All those in favor? Carried. So those that are joining with us virtually, thank you very much for being with us. We are now going to be going in camera. We will return after to close down the evening. I thank you for your time. Thank you for joining with us tonight.